Has there been an anime for you that, upon its initial release, made you just feel so invested and personally connected to its cast and world in a way that genuinely moved you, even with it being as short as 12 episodes? It's been nearly 2 years since Chainsaw Man's first season dropped. It being so long ago made me want to go back and see if it was as good as I remember. In doing that, I was reassured. To this day, it remains one of the top dogs for quality within the anime space. For some of you, this will be no surprise, and for others, I hope I can get you on board with Tatsuki Fujimoto's Chainsaw Man. One of the key aspects of Season 1 is how different of a lead Denji is to your typical protagonist. Not just limiting the discussion to anime either, Denji is unique. He's immature, stupid, goofy, hungry, and most notably, horny. Yet he's a character that's also resilient, hardworking, earnest, and loyal. He craves and desires for care. As most of all, he's lonely. Until Prachita. In the show's opening episode, which is in contention for best anime pilot ever, Denji is characterized tremendously well, showcasing his various traits and qualities, alongside an absolute killer of an OST that will have you feeling happy to sad faster than you're able to recognize. Denji is showcased so well that being able to sympathize with him feels like second nature. Similar sentiment can be said about a lot of the cast, honestly. So many share tragic backgrounds and hardships, with amazing commentary on CPTSD and many other extremely serious and heavy topics, to the point where their main purpose in life is literally fighting devils. This is really reflected in how well the show presents itself too. Not solely to be attributed to art director Yusuke Takada, but also of these other talented artists on screen right now. It's purely stunning to look over and admire. The way it's able to be muted but retain colour in impactful ways is just shocking. With lighting being very heavily focused on. Not just to make things look pretty, which it does do, but primarily the lighting is used more often to reflect the scene, both diegetically and non-diegetically. Such as Aki doing chores in his apartment, its cool temperature of blues and whites amplifies the scene's mood. Or the warm and vibrant sun shining through when Denji is with Makima. The lighting is done so flawlessly, it's not noticeable unless you're looking for it. So much of this anime is just like that. Details between details, subtly each building onto one another. This really goes for everything, but to highlight, its characters and their interactions and decisions are always being built upon each episode. Nobody is stagnant. Most of this comes from the character relationships. Each character has effects on one another, whether it's Makima and Denji, Aki and Denji, Power and Denji. Each of them changes as a result of having known each other. The same can be said for so many within the show too. Additionally, there's always something going on with character motivations, either being made obvious or done behind the scenes, making for such entertaining drama at times, as so many are compelled to do the same task, but for widely different reasons and even different morals. This isn't normal, as even for other anime that I adore, they don't quite measure up to having a cast of characters this masterfully interwoven, each saying something completely different by simply existing within the narrative. It's honestly credit to Fujimoto's original work, and furthermore, credit to those on the production team who clearly understood these characters to be able to express them perfectly. Also, the casting team? Because holy crap, I could not imagine Kishibe being anyone other than Kenjiro Tsuda.
お前たちみたいのはめったにいない。素晴らしい。大好きだ。
Because Makima is pure level 100 on the scary vibes, so void of relatability, her movements, tone of voice, and lack of expressions make her just feel uneasy, whereas Power's eccentric demeanor is always on full blast. Aki is just depressed bro, but can you blame him? He's really filling in for the cliche anime protagonist trope that even this anime calls out.
Even just looking at you kind of pisses me off. It's embarrassing watching you act like the lead in a shonen manga.
Though I do feel for the guy. Moving on, I'd love to quickly mention just how amazing the intro is, because kick back is an all-time Hall of Famer. Its exhilarating song, accompanied by some of the most stunning and creative imagery, it gets me hyped. Those creative visuals that are shown wouldn't be as kick-ass if not for the power system. Chainsaw Man has one of the best power systems, period. Power comes from devils. People can make contracts with those devils to obtain power. These contracts aren't littered with fine print either. They are extremely easy to understand. A binding vow type system that everyone in the audience can actually understand and follow. Anyways, the devils often just want things like people's limbs or life in exchange for some of their power. Devils range from different power levels depending on how scary they are. Also, they each have different powers that they can grant, meaning the potential for different ideas and concepts are just endless, allowing for Fujimoto to incorporate them into the story, having them accomplish anything they need to, both for the characters, but first and foremost, the narrative. What makes it outstanding, however, is how well it's incorporated, not just for its story, but its themes too. Just because it can be endlessly creative and interesting with ways to affect the story and various outcomes doesn't mean it'll necessarily be good, but its execution by Fujimoto makes it so. He never allows characters or devils to negatively affect the world nor its immersion. Each power granted by devils and the devils themselves are given great care inside the narrative, making for an even more entertaining experience. In short, it's really good. Chainsaw Man is something else. Things I'd like to touch on for the record: I love the antagonistic forces and the concepts around the gun devil. Pure genius. Also, the characters really go through it. Too much to cover in a short form video such as this, but I'd feel remiss if I didn't even address it, as their shared trauma sort of ties them together and the story as a whole, which is an integral part of their connections as a cast, and certainly one of the reasons they are easy to connect with from an audience perspective. When I'm listening to the show's soundtrack, it has me like guts during his theme. I just have so much sympathy for Denji and what he goes through. It struck a chord with me in such a bizarre way. It did catch me off guard, similar to Thorfinn in Vinland Saga. The anime captivated me so much because of Denji. He and his endless pursuit of dreams, whether healthy or not, is something so core to who he is. Chapter 12 of the manga, which equates to the first 9 minutes of episode 5, starts and finishes with Denji's dream of touching some boobs.
What? This is a moment in history! Take a picture!
While, yeah, it does sound funny, I get that, just the way it deconstructs his view of depression surrounding life itself and the sexual manipulation of Makima on a minor is just immense. The imagery isn't good. Denji isn't scoring here. He is being assaulted. Chapter 12 is quite literally one of my favorite manga chapters just ever. The writing on display that is just showcased in the anime perfectly is ridiculous. His troubles with sexual manipulation plays a large part in this. And yeah, it does get on my nerves when people just attribute Chainsaw Man to the horny anime. Yes, out of context, but with context, it's severe and has an impact that's detrimental and provides serious commentary. And without going into much detail, it's something that myself and many others can seriously either relate or empathize with, especially with its depiction of male sexual assault victims, unlike other depictions seen in media as of late. Overall, I absolutely adore the class this show has. It's a vibrant, creative piece by someone that, by all I'm aware of, is completely insane. Like, the dude is buck fucking wild, but like in the best way. Somehow I believe his best qualities bleed into his work, and that's just evident from his manga. But dare I say, its pinnacle is within the anime thus far. That's it. Do you like Chainsaw Man's anime? Let me know, and feel free to discuss with people in our Discord. I am also up to date on the manga, so feel free to continue this conversation in our manga section. So I'm keen to hear your guys' thoughts. If you guys want to support the channel, we have a Patreon where you get exclusive perks. These videos take a lot of time and money to make, so any help would really go a long way. In the top mate tier, we have Nick. In the great mate tier, we have Colin and CJ. And the good mate tier, we have Jadu Sable. Please make sure to follow the link in the description to check that out. And also to use our code DARE2 in the Fortnite store. All right, peace out.